So this is what the other side of the closet looks like, where the blushing bride keeps her clothes and different personal effects, and we are going to put a much more comprehensive closet organizer on this side. And we've got it all built and ready to be assembled. We just need to get this stripped out so that we're down to bare walls. Are you ready to cut the rest?
This isn't the time lapse.
It's not. You are right. I have got you on video. How many of these have we cut so far?
5.
Okay, and that's the top and the sides and stuff?
Yep.
Now we need to cut the smaller ones and set up the table saw?
Yes.
Because this one's gonna be a bit more fancy than the last one, right? All right, it's rainy and cold today, so let's get a move on.
Yeah. Let's.
Okay, we got our little shelving unit done, right? The upright part. Got it braced, and we're gonna call it for the day. Are we done for the day?
Yep.
Are you glad to be done?
Yep.
Let's get some of our pre-cuts up here, because what do we want to cut first, the tops or the upright part?
Your pick.
I don't care. We gotta cut 3. That's 78 and a half. So let's cut those and set them aside. So let's get the carpenter square and mark them and cut them. Okay, we've got a section of shop floor cleaned up. How do we put these pieces together so they look nice? What's the trick?
Figuring out which end is the finished end and which end isn't.
Right. The one that is not finished goes against the wall or the floor where you won't see it, right? Okay. So there's a bottom. Here is a top. Now we want to do, we're going to have the one upright facing the back so that it's least likely to be seen, right? Okay, so we can very gingerly stand these up. So that one we're going to turn. We're going to go, let me think for a second here. We're going to face it out like this. Okay, grab the last one, and that's the one that'll go against the wall. This one, come in a little, and it won't stand up. Sure.
It's on the corner of that one, that's why.
How is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well that would explain let's measure, mark, and we'll put the whole thing together. You ready? Move down. Did you get all these wiped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless it started dripping after or something.
Well, we'll just look it over when we get it set up. So,
That one dripped out a little bit more.
okay. We staple these and tack them in place just to get it roughed up, and then we go back and we pre-drill and screw. I like to use a pretty hefty screw because when you get monkeying these all around, they're pretty heavy and you want stuff to hold together. So none of these will be visible like on the bottom and on the very top by the time we fill in these holes, and they're all done down flush with the wood, screwed in flush. You won't know they're there. And the other thing too, they'll be way up over your head. So you could try and pocket screw some of this. The only word of warning I'd give you if you try and pocket screw this light plywood is it's really easy to run the screws in a little too hard and splinter because they pull so well that it'll pull right through this soft plywood. If you did it with hardwood like oak finished plywood, you wouldn't have to worry about it as much. But if you're working with cheaper material, I prefer to pre-drill and screw. I do use pocket screws for braces and to stiffen things up, but that's also glued. So in a day after the glue dries, it's nice and solid. But for this, I do not pocket screw. Ready? Oh, yep, she's getting heavy already. All right, let's slide it back so we can keep working here. Okay, this is good. All right. Okay, let's wipe our glue drips and get back to it. Can you take that cut piece away? Just set it aside for a moment. You should be able to see how you can do this. If you need to cut a big sheet of plywood, again, we've used a piece of 2x4. We've demonstrated this in another video on closet organizers. Measure and then add the width of your saw guide to get your finish cut. And then we just took a straight piece of 3/4 plywood that we ran down the table saw and clamp it on as a guide. So we mark it on each side, clamp it, we get really nice straight cuts. And the only reason that I have brought this up more than once is if you go and buy a guide for a circular saw, you can spend, what did we look at one that was over $100? We were buying screws and staples and materials and looking at it, and it just doesn't seem worth the cost when you can take a cutoff that's straight and with a little bit of math make your own. We can go ahead and unclamp that. So we clamp the shelves so we know that we're putting them on nice level, and that The shelf is going to be tipping or drop while we're trying to staple this in place.
Scream and then you
Blurry.
can't use it. No!
Dad!
No!
Stop!
This has been a fun painting experience with the angry shop chicken. We're just about done, girls.
Too bad we're not one of those bigger YouTube channels. We could make the Angry Shop Chicken t-shirts with a squawking chicken.
Merchandise.
Yeah.
The angry shop chicken. It's
Yeah.
been loud in here, hasn't it?
The Angry Shop Chicken says you should buy our new merch.
I think she's tired of being cooped up. All right. We need to just empty it out, and then I'll take everything off while you girls work on your homework. This is one of those truthful moments in creating these videos is our wiggle room that we had for installing somehow disappeared once we got it up here. So the kids helped pull all the trim off the walls, and then we had to pull the light switch and outlet. And with some persistence, we're going to get this thing in. But we were a little nervous at first that we might be cutting shelves down and remaking this particular piece.
Go.
I shouldn't want to go back. I'll get it. We're high over here. I need to work this back. Fresh paint was maybe a little stickier than we anticipated. There we got her. There we go. Okay. So one thing I'm going to need you kids to do is stand in the bottom of this and put a little pressure on the carpet so we can line these seams up right here.
So we just got done finishing the other half of the closet with new storage space. We started this side maybe 2 weeks ago, and then we finished this one today. So up here, this shelf right here was a little bit higher up, but to make it just look neater and nicer, we put it down lower so that the whole shelves could be leveled at the same height. And then here, we have 8 feet worth of hanging space. No,
Yeah.
8 feet worth of hanging space.
Yeah. 4 up and 4 down.
And then here, we have this little pull-out bar where if she likes something, she can just hang it up. Then she can see it instead of it just being tucked in. And then right here, she has belts. Instead of just like sticking out and stuff, it's able to tuck away.
That pulls all the way out.
Oh, it does. Pulls all the way out?
Yeah. Pull harder.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes farther out. That way you can see all of it.
Yep.
That's handy. Oh, it goes back really nice. So then right here, this is just for like dresses or pants, just like the longer hang down. And it still leaves space at the bottom for just maybe a pair of shoes. Down here, this is designed for like shoe boxes or just like heels. So the good thing about this is you can either put it in like this flat down, or you can turn it on the side to fit more boxes. It really works however you want it to.
Do you remember in this long area here for the hanging stuff like dresses, we did something additional in case she wanted to repurpose that area?
I'm at a loss.
Yeah. All the holes down the inside of it, what are they for?
Extra shelving?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the extra shelves are stacked up in the back. They're in that actual space behind all the hanging stuff.
Behind these?
They stand up against the back wall.
Oh, I see it.
So we won't be able to show that because it'll be too hard to.
You wouldn't be able to see it.
You
from
wouldn't be able
close.
to
There's
see it.
not really an opening.
Yeah. So the extra shelves stand up along the back wall, and then they have a shelf bracket that holds them in place so they won't fall out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then down here, there is 3 different shelves, so you can see your shoes. It's at an angle, that way it's easier to just see it instead of having to like look through just straight across. It's at a tip so that you can see the front of the shoes.
Mom is still filling this area
Yes.
up right now.
So we have hooks on the siding here. We have 2, which are double hooks. That way you can hang things like a robe or just... What else can you hang?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want. Mom is just...
Okay, I think we're done.
Are you going through my closet and showing all my secrets?
Yes.
Yes.